Evening, everybody. I'm Lieutenant Commander Tony Baruso. I'm a 2010 Coast Guard Academy grad, ship driver by trade, but I'm currently the recruiting chief in the Academy's admissions office. So just here to provide you a brief overview of what the Coast Guard has to offer as a service, as well as what the Coast Guard Academy has to offer, and fill you in a little bit more on some of our specific programs as it relates to marine and environmental sciences. So here you can see the 103-acre Coast Guard Academy campus right along the Thames River in beautiful New London, Connecticut. Waterfront campus with a lot of waterfront resources, including active Coast Guard units, training platforms, sailing platforms, and a lot of other things to make your experience as hands-on as possible throughout your 4 years at the Academy. So a little bit about the Coast Guard to start off here, just because it's probably the least known of the military services. So it's a little different from the other armed services. And since it is the service that you would enter upon completion of 4 years at the Coast Guard Academy, it's good to know a little bit more about what you'd be doing in the service. So we are one of the 6 U.S. Armed Services, but we do reside in the Department of Homeland Security, while the other services fall under the Department of Defense. So we do have significantly different missions and legal authorities that the other services don't have, including a humanitarian focus, some unique law enforcement authorities, and everyday tangible impact around the globe, as well as directly in the communities that we serve locally. So here you can see the Academy's 9 academic majors, along with the Coast Guard's roles and missions. As you can see, we're a STEM-focused institution, something I'll talk about a little bit more later when we talk about preparation for applying to the Academy. But suffice it to say, we're consistently ranked in the top engineering programs, most innovative schools, and best overall colleges in our region. We have state-of-the-art facilities, unique internships, and experiences in every major. We're also smaller sized, which allows for some more personalized attention and learning from our top-notch faculty. Whichever of those 9 majors you choose, you'll receive a Bachelor of Science upon graduation. So I was a government major, still got a Bachelor of Science, still took my calculus, chemistry, and physics, and all that stuff. And then you'll be fully prepared after those 4 years to begin your 5-year service commitment, carrying out our exciting blend that you can see here of humanitarian focused missions. So 85% of people that graduate with one of those degrees go on to earn a graduate degree that the Coast Guard will pay for. And in addition to that, 85% of Academy graduates typically stay past their 5-year commitment. So that's a retention rate that we're pretty proud of. And I think it reflects the satisfaction that Coast Guard officers get every day from leading the great people that we have in our service and from carrying out those exciting and rewarding missions daily alongside the people that you're going to graduate with your peers and classmates. And then just a quick fun fact here, that ship at the bottom of the slide is Coast Guard Cutter Mustang, 110-foot patrol boat out of Seward, Alaska, here and behind me as well. It's operating with a Coast Guard HH-60 helicopter, conducting search and rescue with Holgate Glacier in Seward, Alaska as a backdrop. So I was the captain of that ship for the past 2 years before coming here to Academy admissions, and I love being able to see the direct impact of my job on the local community, the state of Alaska, and the country as a whole. So we did a lot of fisheries enforcement, a lot of environmental protection, a lot of search and rescue. So really awesome missions. If you're here at this fair, I'm sure you're interested in some of those things. And it's also a testament to how the Coast Guard entrusts a lot of responsibility in you pretty soon after you graduate the Academy. And we prepare you to fulfill those responsibilities while you're at the Academy. So a little bit more about a couple of the majors here. Obviously, marine and environmental sciences is pretty germane to why you're all here at this fair. We do have a marine and environmental sciences major. It is very popular. It's a great program. There's a few different areas that you can specialize in, whether it's marine environmental physics, chemistry, and marine biology. So there are definitely a few different areas of specialization. We also do, in conjunction with that marine and environmental sciences program, also have a geospatial intelligence certificate program as well. So that's one of our newer programs that we're pretty proud of in conjunction with marine and environmental sciences. A couple other things that you'll see here: civil engineering is now called civil and environmental engineering. So we've added a pretty significant environmental engineering component to the civil engineering program. So that's another one that might pique your interest if you're in the marine environmental sciences world, as well as naval architecture and marine engineering. So that's much more specialized to actually building environmentally friendly and efficient ships and and water platforms. So that one is definitely a highly experiential major at the academy, and we do have a lot of state-of-the-art facilities. We got a 50,000 gallon tow tank with the sinusoidal wave maker and a bunch of other really great facilities to get your hands-on learning in a pretty unique major in naval architecture and marine engineering. So we also are a D3 varsity athletic program. So we got a bunch of different programs. I was a football player at the academy personally, but we have a bunch of men's and women's athletic programs that are really great opportunities to get that physical athletic component in and build some great relationships that'll last into the service with your teammates. Also a bunch of club, recreational, and intramural sports. This is not an all-inclusive list. There's a bunch of additional ones that aren't here. So really anything that you're interested in, there's a club for it. And if there's not, all you need is a faculty sponsor and you can start it up. So feel free to explore those other interests while you're here at the academy. So leadership and professional development. These things are woven throughout every area of your academy experience for all 4 years. For leadership development, we have an on-campus leadership think tank called the Institute of Leadership that essentially manages the entire leadership curriculum throughout your time here at the academy. The cadets at the academy are entrusted with the responsibility of leading themselves, essentially, which means that your responsibilities as a leader will increase throughout your time at the academy. It's also woven into classroom settings, guest speakers, informal and formal discussions, interactions with dedicated active duty Coast Guard officers and enlisted members that are assigned to each company, and most importantly, during your summer experiences aboard various Coast Guard units, as well as leading new academy members in their incoming year in the class. The professional development program runs alongside leadership development using state-of-the-art simulators, kind of like the stuff that you saw in the little video on this slide, training vessels on the academy's waterfront that I talked about earlier, and Coast Guard operational experiences while you're here at the academy to prepare you for your duties upon graduation. And that'll also ensure that you receive professional certification as a licensed 100-ton mariner upon graduation. The most recognizable place where those development programs intersect is America's tall ship Coast Guard Cutter Eagle. So you may be familiar with that, but if not, definitely check out on our website. Eagle is a staple of the Academy's summer programs for cadets, and you'll have multiple opportunities to sail aboard that ship and get that leadership, teamwork, and followership training that really brings your Academy experience together. So shifting gears a little bit to applicants and applications. What are the academies in general and the Coast Guard Academy specifically looking for in their applicants? To put it simply, I would say leaders of character who show potential to excel as future military officers. So we'll look at your academics. Obviously, that's a pretty heavy component to see that you've taken the most challenging courses available, performed well, and have a STEM foundation regardless of your desired major to prepare you for those baseline courses. So every cadet, regardless of their major, like I said before, is going to take calculus, chemistry, and physics. So you need to be ready for those, and you need to show us on your transcript that you have that foundation. We are standardized test optional, so it really comes down to your high school transcript and showing us A, that you have the foundation in those 3 core courses, and B, that you have specific coursework that relates to your major to make you more competitive. Additionally, we'll look for signs of leadership potential and commitment to serve within your extracurricular activities. So whether that's community service, a scouting program, Sea Cadets, or employment, whatever the case may be, whatever is meaningful to you and where you can show leadership. And then we'll obviously also look at your overall physical fitness and your ability to potentially be involved in any of our athletic or other activities at the academy, including music and drama. So that should tell you basically what we're looking for and what areas to focus on if you plan to apply. As for the application itself, it is 100% online, and we just require some basic documents here. So basic information, a series of required personal statements and letters of recommendation, along with some optional ones. So those are definitely recommended, the optional items to complete, including uploading a resume, which is really helpful for us. We require a physical fitness exam, which is different from the other academies that use the CFA. We use what's called the PFE, so it's a 1.5 mile run, cadence push-ups, and 2-minute sit-ups. You'll go through the medical qualification process through DODMERB, the DoD Medical Evaluation Review Board, just like you would for any other academy. We do interview some applicants, not all. And unique to Coast Guard Academy, we do not require a congressional nomination like the other academies do. So that's something that sets us apart. And on the right, you can see this year's application timeline. So obviously we're well past all of our deadlines for applying to the class of 2026, but that application deadline or timeline will hold true for the next class as well. So the application for the next class will open July 15th of this year for the class of 2027. And then following from that July 15th date, all these dates will remain just about the same. So finally, a few action items here. So first and foremost, meet your admissions officer. Go to our website, explore everything. You can explore the majors that you're interested in, the ones that I talked about today, but definitely meet your regional admissions officer. We have 5 of them that I'm in charge of at the academy. So each of them cover a specific geographic region. So depending on what state you're from, you can meet your admissions officer. If you're from California, it's Lieutenant Junior Grade John Hu, and you'll see his info there on the website. Obviously, we're past the application deadline, as I mentioned, but we do have one application that is open right now, and that would be for high school juniors. So if you are a junior, check out the Summer AIM program, Academy Introduction Mission. It is a 1-week in-person program at the academy that fully immerses you in academy life and gives you a taste of what your first summer at an academy would look like. It's the most realistic of any of the academy summer programs, and we take pride in letting you really test drive the academy for a week and see if it's right for you and if you're right for us. So highly recommend that if you're a high school junior now, rising senior. In addition to that, we do have regular campus programs and on-campus recruiting events, as well as traveling events around the country, college fairs that we attend in person and virtually, and events that we run while we're on the road. So check out our website. We also do have a virtual campus and career tour, as well as a tour of the Coast Guard Cutter Eagle. If you can't make it out, definitely check us out virtually and contact us with any questions. But outside of that, that's all that I have, pending any questions that anyone may have. So thanks for the opportunity to present here. And I hope to talk to some of you soon about what the Coast Guard Academy has to offer.
Great, thank you. That was really interesting. So we do have a few questions that have come in. So first, what service and leadership opportunities do you recommend doing for people applying?
So people ask this a lot, and I don't really have a specific answer for you because it depends on what you're interested in. I would say do what interests you most and try to show leadership and initiative in whatever that area is. So if it's community service, take on a project on your own, lead a project, something like that. If it's, Boy Scouts, Eagle Scout type stuff, that's pretty easy to show leadership. If you're doing like a military adjacent program like Civil Air Patrol, Sea Cadets, any of those type of programs, JROTC, that's pretty easy to show leadership, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be employment at whatever job you end up working. If you're leading a shift or something like that, that's totally fine. So I would say, try to balance between your own interests and being able to show that commitment to service and leadership.
Great. Another question we had is, following graduation, what duties are expected of the graduates?
Sure. So upon graduation, you have a few options. Most of the class will go to ships first. So it doesn't close you off from any other Coast Guard career paths, but that's just kind of, we're a maritime service. So you have a good chance of going to a ship just to get that kind of grounding in what the Coast Guard's bread and butter is and the missions that we do every day. So about 85% of the class will go to a ship. Smaller percentage can go directly to flight school from the academy. So if you're interested in becoming a pilot, the Coast Guard has the largest percentage of pilots as a percentage of its officer corps of any other service. So by the numbers, you have the best chance to be a pilot by joining the Coast Guard as an officer. So if you're interested in that, you can go directly from the academy to flight school, but you can also continue to apply to flight school after you graduate. And typically, if that's what you want to do, as long as you perform well at whatever unit you're assigned to, you can eventually get to flight school from any unit. And then another smaller percentage of the class will go to either a cyber related unit if they're a cyber systems major. So that major is specifically for starting that career path. and then the shore-based missions. So we have sectors and other shore-based stations around the country, whether it be a command center that's running search and rescue missions, an inspections team that's doing vessel inspections and making sure people are being safe before they depart and following all regulations, oil spill response, all that kind of stuff. A lot of that happens from our shore-based stations. So really, there's a lot of career opportunities open to you, but I would say the majority will start on a ship, and don't necessarily have to continue in that field, but you can, like I did, and eventually end up in command of your own ship, like the one that I talked about and that's behind me here from Seward, Alaska. So hopefully that kind of answers the question, but you will be expected to lead right away. I would say that's kind of the biggest thing is, the other service academies, you'll graduate and then you may go to a school again for another year to learn how to be a division officer on a ship, whatever the case may be. But the Coast Guard Academy is going to spit you right out onto a ship, and you're going to be expected to lead, a group of enlisted folks ranging in age from, teenagers that just got out of boot camp to, 40, 50-year-old senior enlisted members who are, either going through personal struggles or, have different kinds of things going on. So you really got to be prepared for that leadership aspect, in addition to making sure you're getting all your qualifications aboard the ship and stuff like that. So we definitely put a lot of stock and effort into your leadership and professional development while you're at the academy to make sure you're prepared to lead in those situations when you get out into the fleet.
Great. We have a good amount of questions coming in. So one is, what is campus life like?
So we do have, obviously, New London is kind of right in the middle of the action in the Northeast US. So if you're not familiar, we're pretty close to New York City, pretty close to Boston, lots of stuff to do in New England, and lots of stuff to do right here in Connecticut. In terms of like your free time and weekends and time off, we do have, a lot of athletic events that are continuously running that cadets like to attend. There's a pretty good, downtown in New London itself. That's just kind of a walk away from the academy. New London is a college town. We have a bunch of other colleges here right in the area. We have Connecticut College right across the street that we do a lot of kind of joint dances and events, and the cadets can take classes over there and stuff like that. So I would say the campus life is pretty vibrant, especially for a military academy. We have a lot of affinity councils and groups that put on events, as well as like drama, music, and that kind of stuff available. So if you go on our website and click on the Cadet Life tab, there's a lot more information about it. But I would say it's pretty robust, and definitely more than what you would expect for a military academy.
Great. Kind of along the same lines, what was your favorite memory from when you were in the academy?
So for me, it was, I would say two things. One was just playing football. So, being a part of that team for 4 years, you will, as soon as you get to the academy and start going through your summer training, which is pretty grueling, you'll develop those relationships right away with your class, right? So you got a set of classmates that that you're bonded with and all that stuff. If you're part of an athletic team like football or something else, you're going to be meeting occasionally during that first summer. So you're going to have kind of an already built-in support system there. So that's my favorite memory is getting to know all those guys. So whether they were my classmates or above me, I still have those relationships to this day. So you'll kind of develop that support system that'll last you all 4 years and beyond as a football player. And we won conference championships 2 years in a row when I was there. So those are great memories. And then I would say, in terms of what pushed me into the career path that I'm in now, in terms of being aboard ships and staying aboard ships, I was on a 110-foot patrol boat out of Cape Cod as a senior cadet at the academy as my summer internship, basically for 12 weeks. And we just buzzed around the waters of the East Coast doing search and rescue, environmental protection, fisheries enforcement, all that stuff. And that just kind of set me on the path of, hey, I want to do this. I want to be the captain of one of these ships sometime in the future. So that was a great memory, a great 12 weeks, and something that really propelled me forward on my career path.
Awesome, thank you. So for those interested in applying, like what characteristics make individuals stand out?
Sure. So yeah, I think I talked about a lot of it with that one slide. I would say, make sure, and this isn't something that necessarily makes you stand out, but make sure you got your academics in order. Calculus, chemistry, physics, no matter how many times I say it, I still see, some transcripts that are missing one of those three. And higher levels are great if you can do honors or AP or whatever the case may be. But really, be authentic, be yourself, show us who you are, and take advantage of the optional items. Give us a resume, show us what's meaningful to you in terms of community service or extracurricular activities. That can really help people stand out, I would say. Obviously, if you're recruited for athletics or music, that can help, but that's definitely not the end all be all. We're looking for people who are committed to serve. Show us you've done your homework on the academy. I see that a lot lacking in applications. People don't really seem to know what they're getting into. So attend a program, whether it's virtual or in person, doesn't matter. Show us that you've done your homework. Take a look at our website, research Coast Guard careers, find something that might be interesting to you. Doesn't mean you're tying yourself into a Coast Guard career, but show us why you're interested in the service, why you're interested in your major, all that kind of stuff. So take the time to explain that in your personal statements, and just make sure you get everything taken care of as early as possible. I would say, don't wait till the last minute, because definitely takes a lot of effort to complete that application. And then finally, in terms of not waiting for the last minute, I would say if you think you're going to apply, it's never too early to start training for the physical fitness exam. Pretty straightforward. Three things: 1.5 mile run, cadence push-ups, and 2-minute sit-ups. The manual's on our website if you want to get a head start now and start taking it. But yeah, I would say that's another thing that is a pretty common trip up that you can control, your success in and your score. So definitely get on top of that early as well. But that's probably the best overall advice that I can give you in terms of applying and what stands out.
Perfect. And you just answered another one of our questions, which was more detail about the physical requirements. So perfect. Can you also go into more about what life is like on a ship? So after you finish school, what is it like to work on a ship?
Yeah. So, a lot of it depends on the size of the ship that you go to. So obviously the bigger the ship, the longer you go out at a time. So, the first ship that I went to was about 400 feet long. It was in Kodiak, Alaska. We would go out for 3 to 4 months at a time. So you're doing that, going out for 3 to 4 months, coming back in for 3 months to do maintenance, and that kind of stuff, and then going out again. That's the basic rhythm. But it depends on where you're stationed, what kind of ship you're on, and what missions you're primarily doing. So, in Kodiak, Alaska, the Coast Guard has to maintain a presence in the Bering Sea at all times. So that's primarily what my ship did. We would, put a helicopter on the back of the ship and go up to the Bering Sea, patrol around, be there for the opening of the crab fishery, halibut, all kinds of stuff. So, making sure that we're enforcing those regulations, as well as keeping people safe out there, because the weather can get pretty crazy pretty fast in the Bering Sea and the Gulf of Alaska. So, day-to-day life aboard a ship, it varies. Depends on what you're doing. But, typically as an academy grad, you're going to be trying to get either qualification to drive the ship or the qualification to be like the engineer on watch. So it kind of depends which track you select, deck watch officer or engineering officer. But you can do either one. It doesn't matter which degree you get, you can still do either one. So it doesn't tie you to a specific job. But yeah, that's the first thing you're going to be working on, is getting qualifications. And then obviously, you'll be assigned to a division that has some function aboard the ship, whether it's communications, supply, all kinds of other stuff. And you'll be tasked with managing a group of enlisted folks to complete whatever that task is. But yeah, then it's just overall, you'll be living with some of your classmates aboard the ship, waking up every day to try and get the mission done, and interacting with a great group of people aboard a ship, independently operating out there, for months at a time. But if you're on a smaller platform, those months become kind of weeks at a time or a single month. But really the general idea is the same aboard any ship. It's just kind of dependent on specific location that your ship's in and what missions they do.
Great. Thank you for all that detail. Kind of along those lines, like I know it varies, depends on the size of the ship, but how many people are generally working on a ship?
Sure. Yeah. So the bigger ones, you're talking about 120 to 150 people on, a 400 to 420-foot ship. So the one that I was on right out of the academy was like 160 people, but that was an older platform that didn't really have the state-of-the-art technology and that kind of stuff. The newer ones have definitely better pretty optimal living situations. Internet and all that stuff is all taken care of. So that's pretty decent. But yeah, it's really dependent on that type of size ratio. So for example, like the patrol boat behind me there that I was the captain of had 17 people total. So it all depends on the size again, but yeah, the bigger the ship, obviously the more people are on it. But I would say the newer ships are more optimally crewed. So you have a big ship, but you have less people on it because it does a lot more things by itself with the technology and that kind of stuff. So we have a lot more room for bigger living spaces and more optimized berthing to make people more comfortable, whether out at sea for 3 or 4 months at a time doing various missions. So either way, whether it's a big crew or a small crew, really lean on each other to get things done. And you need to have people that have multiple specialties, especially aboard a smaller ship like the one that I was on. When you got 17 people and you got a lot of stuff to do, you need people that have multiple different skill sets to make sure you have all your bases covered. So it's definitely an exercise in teamwork, and you really form those bonds with people. The other seagoing services like the Navy, you're operating in a group of ships, but when you're talking about the Coast Guard, you're typically operating independently. So you're out there alone in the middle of a big ocean, and you need to depend on that team of folks, no matter how big or small they are, to get that job done every day.
Perfect. Thank you. So for those that, maybe are considering going into this, and if they don't have any boat background, is that something that's necessary and good to have experience before, or is it all just kind of trained at the academy?
Yeah, so the academy will provide all that. I would say the most common thing that I see is either like, for shipboard experience, a lot of people do sea cadets. And then for people that want to go to flight school, a lot of them get private pilot's licenses beforehand, but none of that will affect your ability to go either aboard a ship or fly for the Coast Guard. So those are, nice things to see on an application, but not a qualification. No experience is necessary in either of those fields if you're interested in those career paths. So we'll give you all that training at the academy. You'll get all that preparation for being aboard a ship. You'll get time aboard the Eagle. That's a big afloat training platform. The America's Tall Ship, the big sailing ship that you'll see in a lot of our promotional materials and videos and stuff. And then we obviously send you out to Coast Guard units, like I mentioned, during your summers, so that you can get that hands-on experience. And we'll send you out, at different levels of leadership. So during your early years at the academy, you'll go out and learn what it's like to be a junior enlisted member. Whereas during your later years, you'll go out and do like a practice run essentially as a junior officer aboard a ship to make sure you got everything squared away. But yeah, we have training platforms at the academy itself that, like, something that I help do as kind of a side job at the academy is help train cadets how to drive ships. So we have a bunch of ships at the academy just for that purpose, as well as the sailing training that you get during the summers. Kind of grounds you in that shipboard mentality, so you're ready to go when you come out of the academy.
Great. Is there anything else that you think we should know if you're considering a school and a career in the Coast Guard?
I think that probably covers all the bases. I would just say, kind of reinforce that, if you're looking at all the service academies, there's a lot of similarities. Coast Guard's obviously the smallest of them and doesn't require congressional nomination. So those are obviously benefits, but I think a lot of the, your experience during the 4 years, a lot of it is pretty similar. So really the differentiator is, not only the, programs that are available, in terms of academics, which again, all kind of STEM focused, but obviously the Coast Guard has, less majors than the other academies do, but I think we make up for that in the, individual attention that we give students and kind of the depth of experience that we have in those programs that are related to marine environmental science and engineering, But really the big thing, the big differentiator is, what you want to do as a career. So if you're interested in humanitarian missions, you want to save lives, you want to protect the environment, all that kind of stuff, then there's only one service that does all that, and it's the Coast Guard. So I would encourage you to, do your homework on all the services, if you're interested in the academies, and then also, look internally and see, hey, what am I interested in, and what am I geared towards in terms of future career opportunities and that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to answer any other questions, and I put my communications info in the chat there. So if you have other questions or want to talk offline, or just want to chat about Coast Guard careers or whatever the case may be, feel free to shoot me an email, set up a call, whatever the case may be. You can text my cell phone. I'm available anytime, so I'd be happy to chat further.
Perfect. I think our last question is, so let's say if someone didn't go to the academy, but is still interested in the Coast Guard, what does that process look like? Sure.
Yeah, there are several. So for that, I would say go to gocoastguard.com, and you're going to find all the information there. But obviously enlisting is one option with, minimal requirement to get in, and you can get in pretty early at a young age if you're interested in the enlisted side of the Coast Guard. If you're still interested in officer programs, there are several of them, most notably Officer Candidate School. So the requirement for that is you get a bachelor's degree somewhere else, and then you can apply for Officer Candidate School. It's a 17-week program at the academy. So you go through a 17-week kind of officer indoctrination program, and then you get a commission, same as graduates of the 4-year Coast Guard Academy program would get, but you're getting it in 17 weeks because you already have that bachelor's degree. And then you're going off to do those same missions in the Coast Guard. We also have some direct commission programs. So if you have a degree in a certain specialty that the Coast Guard is looking for, whether it's a law degree or a specific engineering degree or IT or whatever the case may be, we'll take you for a quick officer indoctrination program and then direct commission you into a specific role that's related to whatever degree you have. And then we also do have some other college-related initiatives. So College Student Pre-Commissioning Initiative, known as CSPI, is a big one that will, kind of help pay for some of your college tuition. So I would definitely encourage people to check out those programs on gocoastguard.com. If the Coast Guard is really what you're set on, it's good to know what your other options are besides the academy for sure.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and for your time. And thank you everyone here today for joining us for the virtual Marine and Environmental Science College and Career Fair, and to our generous sponsors. We wish you all the best in your next steps. Thank you so much.
Thank you.